FlatCad Racing, and it is just a group of guys that's never been to the salt flats before, and all had the same dream of trying to do it, and just kind of ended up hooking up together by accident and through the internet. It was started by Buddy Walker in Greeley, Colorado. He was always interested in Cadillac motors, and he found this 38 Chevy for $1,800. He bought it, brought it home, and he was going to build a street rod out of it. Well, he was on the HAMB, and he was talking to a lot of people. Then he kind of started investigating a little bit of Bonneville. Thought about going a little bit step further because there's not a lot of hot rod parts for Cadillacs, and it's kind of unique. Well, he had met another gentleman through the website, the HAMB, which was Dale Hayes out of Ohio. And Dale has done a lot of tutorials on the HAMB about porting and polishing. Dale was born and raised in Los Angeles, down in Gardena area. And when he was young, Dale went to, was hanging out at Reith Automotive and got to know the owners of Reith Automotive and Ed Iskandarian. And he was just very interested in how things were made and how to make them fast. So he learned porting. He learned all the ins and outs of how to build the motor old school. Well, Dale had done some porting and had posted it on the HAMB. Well, Buddy Walker had approached Dale to do the port job on the motor. And Dale said, you know, you don't understand how much work that is, because that's all handwork. I mean, this is a one-off special. It is pure labor intensive. Well, Buddy wanted this bad, and he enticed him and said, okay, I tell you what we'll do. You port the block and do the work. He goes, you ever thought about driving a car on the Bonneville salt flats? Perked up Dale's interest immediately. Dale was like going, now we're talking. Now that'd be fun, you know. So Buddy hooked up with Dale, and they went ahead and sent the block out to Dale, and Dale started doing the port work on it. So it started with those two gentlemen. I met Dale through my business. I have a business where I am a manufacturer. I have a full machine shop and lasers, things like that. And Dale had contacted me through the HAMB, and I made a few parts here and there for Dale. We got to be friends, and we talked, you know, on and off, as you know you do on the internet. Anyhow, Dale approached me, and he says, hey, would you be interested in helping us out? I've met this guy, and we're going to build a Bonneville car. I said, well, you know, yeah, let me know what you want, you know. And it started with some machine parts and little brackets. Well, Dale, call him pretty much the mad scientist of the group. He is sharp as sharp can be with flatheads designing. He is fantastic. He has got a friend of his, is Chris Daniels. Chris Daniels does SolidWorks drawings, and you know, it's like AutoCAD, but it's all 3D modeling. And at my company, a lot of our CNC equipment and everything, we take the SolidWorks files and we incorporate them into our machines, and we're able to machine them. So I've never met the guys before, but Dale says, hey, let me send you some files and see what you want to do. So he starts sending me the files, which is the girdle, main caps of the motor, and our upper girdle. And I looked at the files and I said, hey, what the heck, you know? And then they offered me the same offer. You know what? Help us with the team, and the team is basically going to be all the guys that are willing to help out and to work on it are going to enjoy the car, not just be standby. So right now we have 4 drivers for this car, and everybody gets to share it. So it sounded fine to me. So they proofed all the drawings, sent it to me. I manufactured in my facility in California, boxed them, shipped them to Ohio. And we just started doing piece more and a little more at a time. And got to know Buddy by a telephone. Never met these guys face to face. And this went on for about 1.5 years. I was building multiple parts for the motor. We got real close to the first year at Bonneville. The motor quite wasn't ready. We were pushing as hard as we could, but we couldn't do it. So we wanted to test the car anyway. So we went ahead, and a gentleman out of Seattle loaned us a small block Chevy. So we threw a small block Chevy in it, put, 4-speed transmission in it. And this was all done back in Ohio. And we all hooked up and decided, okay, we're ready to go to Bonneville. So I grabbed my son to go first time. Then I called my brother-in-law Bob, who has now got roped into part of the team. And his son, Danny, is one of the drivers. But our first year, we just went out to enjoy it. Just to see what was going on, to check out the car and meet everybody. So the first year, we camped at the Bend, and we all met right there on the Salt. And it was the first time a lot of us have ever met. We've never met face to face. So we all met there at the track, at the Salt, and we had a blast. Just a small block Chevy, but we had a fun running it, understanding the car, getting to know the rules, and how everything transpires. Since then, the car went back to Ohio, and we were able to finish the motor. We brought it out to John Beck at Vintage Speed up in Chico, and we finished the motor, put it on there, put it on the dyno, ran our dyno numbers. We got good readings. We were pushing just a little over 500 horsepower on fuel, on gas. And we decided, okay, let's do it. So we got it all mounted in the car. Next year we went out there, and there was 4 drivers. We have Buddy Walker, who's the owner of the team. We got Dale Hayes, the mad scientist. We've got Danny Rudd, my nephew. And then, of course, the guy that we haven't talked about is good old Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson is pretty much our chassis body guy. Randy's out of Missouri. So the car has been all over the United States, and we're all spread out over the United States, but we own 4 land speed records with this car. Our top speed right now, we hurt the motor on the last run, but it was 186.8 miles an hour on alcohol, and it was on a very poor run. Our goal is 200, and the nice thing is everybody shares in this car. It's not a one-man band. Everybody gets to do a little bit of everything with the car, experience the car, and we just built it from ground up just because we all had fun, and we met through the internet, and it's been a great experience. So we're looking for a future. We want to break 200, which we feel. We're running on alcohol now. We've learned a lot about the motor. I've done some redesign on the engine. I do most of the machining. Dima Elgin did the camshaft, and we wanted to put a full roller system in. You can't buy aftermarket parts, so I designed and built a complete roller assembly for this, and Dale did all the designing for the heads. We fully machined our own heads. Our own crankshaft was a one-off Crower. Everything is pretty much unique one-off, and it's amazing on how far out we've been spread across the country. We were able to put this thing together and get those numbers right off the bat. It's just a great group of guys that have a great passion. A little bit of information on the engine that we are running. It is a 1940 Cadillac flathead. It basically came out of the LaSalle. It was 322 cubic inch originally. It is now 366 cubic inch. It is got a 5.5 inch bore. It's got a 4 5/8 stroke. The connecting rods is wild. We're 8 3/4 inch centers on the connecting rods. It is a special one-off motor. It is definitely unique. But he just he had the vision to build a hot rod out of it. It's a unique motor. And then he started studying a little bit about Bonneville, and there was a few Cadillacs run on Bonneville salt flats. And he just felt, you know what? Let's take this Cadillac and let's see what we can do with it, and let's see if we can go after the Fords, which hold a lot of the world records. And we took an old tank engine and we turned it into this crazy blown injected on alcohol motor, and it's been fantastic. Our cam is a Dima Elgin custom roller. It's got a 510 lift. It is a full roller. The crank is a Crower. And one of the crazy unique things is we base the crank off of big block Chevy, the journal sizes. But this engine only has 3 main caps. We have a front, a rear, and only 1 center. So when our RPMs we're max, we're trying to stay under 6,000. You know, nobody's ever done what we've done, so we're a little bit worried. You know, we got that point. When does it blow? You know, it's kind of a fine line. We spun her to 6 grand so far. She's held together very, very well. The heads are complete 2-piece aluminum billet, specially designed. We basically designed them off of Harley Davidson race heads, the chamber designs, and it's proved pretty well. It's proved pretty good. So we did some slight modifications from the design, but Harleys are very, good, strong motors and very fast. So we've did a little bit of steeling here and a little tweaking there, and it's turned out very, very nice. You know, we have an 871 blower. We're running probably about 28% overdrive, and we're running a Pro Mag too. We run multiple classes with this car. We'll run gas class and we'll run fuel class, which is nice. So we have 4 basic classes that we can run. We can run vintage fuel, we can run vintage gas, both in the altered and the competition coupe side. So we're able to switch back our ignition system and our fuel that we run. So everybody gets a chance at different records we get to set, and it's great. We were running a Rankine 4-speed transmission in it. It did fine, but it was real cumbersome, in that seat. It's very, very tight. You were very hard strapped in with the SCTA rules, which we totally understand, but it's very hard to run a 4-speed in a very tight cab. So we've just recently had a transmission built, 2-speed power glide. So we're hoping how this will work out real well. Of course, we had to design the adapter plates and space out the torque converter in it to actually engage into the pump into the transmission. So there was a lot of design work to fit the transmission in. We're running 272 first gear and 1-to-1 second gear on the 2-speed. So it'll be our first shot here in a few weeks off to El Mirage to do the run. We're looking forward to it. We feel that the 2-speed is going to be much easier to get our goal of 200 in this. Eventually we want to do is take this, twin turbo it, and put it in a streamliner. And then we want to go after 300. We want to be the fastest flathead on the planet, is what we want. Right now, Flatfire has it, but we've got more horsepower, more torque with our motor than they do. So we twin turbo it. It's, with a blower, it pulls horsepower. It takes horsepower to run a blower. Well, we twin turbo this. We feel that 300 won't be an issue. Just got to build the correct chassis for it. And we would love to go to a streamliner in time, but it's one step at a time, so 200 will be our first goal, be the first competition coupe with a flathead ever over 200 miles an hour. This is like pushing a brick. This old Chevy, it's all steel, original chassis. It's got original Springer front end in it. We've got a winner's quick change in the rear, but it's all steel from the firewall back. We've chopped it I think we did a 3-inch chop, which was legal. Cannot change or alter anything from the firewall back in the competition coupe vintage class. So our gas cap is exposed, sticking out the side of the car like it was originally. Everything is steel behind. The front ends, depends on the class that we run. Right now we have the full 200 mile an hour setup in the altered class with the belly pan. And when we run the other classes, then it's open wheel, front end. Just the grill and a hood. No sides, no side panels. And it's very restrictive. It's very tough to streamline this car. So it's horsepower, and you've got to have patience. You can't try to get all that speed in one or 2 miles. You've got 3 miles to get it done. We've already passed the threshold on the 3-mile track of over 175 at the 2 1/4, and now we are ready to go to the 5-mile track, put a little bit taller gearing in it, and we're going to push for breaking 200, which we feel we will get. It's held together quite well. We've added extra head studs in the motor. We've actually added, if I'm not mistaken, we've added 8 extra head studs to tighten it, to hold the head on. We run copper gaskets, and Halamar sealants have been a big sponsor and a big help to this car, and they've stepped up quite well with us, and we use their Halamar products on the copper gaskets to help seal it. We have receiver groove and an O-ring groove in it, and pushing that much boost, we're popping gaskets every now and then. On the dyno, we did try to run 10% nitro. Boy, this motor just lit. It was on one hell of a pull, and unfortunately, we popped the head gasket. So we'd love to step it into the nitro to get the horsepower up, but the old motor, you can only do so much with a 1940 motor, out of a LaSalle. But what we've done is quite unique. It's fantastic. You come up, we have a lot of fun at car shows. We'll take them to a few shows and sell t-shirts to help sponsor the team. And we'll give away a free t-shirt if somebody can walk up and identify the motor. You'd be amazed how many people don't know what it is, because the exhaust on these motors come out the top of the engine, where normally it's out the bottom. And the funny thing is Flatfire, their Ford world record holder, they've reversed the flow. They're bringing the intake in from the exhaust, and they're exhausting out through their intakes. So they're copying us. So we feel pretty good about that, But it's a unique thing. It's a lot of fun, very interesting to people, and it's a beast. It is definitely a beast. Some of the support that we've had with the designing and the building of this has been very, very crucial to our team. We've brought on a lot of great help in the past putting this together to get 200. Our electronic systems in this is managed by 2 of the team members, which is Bob Rudd and Dale Hayes. And we needed a complete wiring harness to manage all the electronics on it. So we turned to Bob at Rebel Wire, and Bob stepped it up big time and helped design a one-off custom electronics system for our race car, because we're running multiple systems. We're running a mag, and then we also run the MSD distributor. So we're running data loggers, we're running a lot of monitors. We can't control the engine, we can't run engine management while we're running, but we can monitor everything. And we have a lot of EGT sensors, and so we monitor it after it finishes the pass. So it was very crucial that we had a very, very good electronic system in this car. So Bob, Rebel Wire, stepped it up and designed a system for us, and we got a beautiful system in here. So Rebel Wire is fantastic. I mean, they've been great support, great product. On the other hand, in the machining end of it, as far as designing, SolidWorks, we've been doing a lot with SolidWorks and AutoCAD. But to understand that, you've got to have a great program for the CNCs, because the heads are quite 3D contoured. They're quite extensive machining on the heads and the components of this engine. So Delcam stepped up, and they are the leader in CNC programming as far as the software goes. So they stepped up and joined our team and helped us with some of the complicated cuts and other 3D contours on the engine. And it's been absolutely fantastic. We've come up with a new chamber design. They'll step up, help write the program. They'll look if there's any issues with the system. We can run it virtually on the computer before we machine it, so we can see any troubles or any issues. Because I mean, you take this head, there's $4,000 or $5,000 in machining in these heads. You know, we're like every other team out there. You know, we're running on a shoestring. You know, and whatever the wives let us have. You know, so we've got to be very, very sure of what we do at every step of the way. And Delcam stepped up exclusively and helped us out tremendously in the machining end of it. You know, we just recently had a real great guy step in and help us out. I'm sure a lot of you guys will know him as good old Alex Gambino, Gambino Customs. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. We've worked on a few projects together, and great guy. And when we switched over from the Rankine 4-speed to the 2-speed Power Glide, we needed some sheet metal work. And Alex stepped up and said, bring it over, we'll get it done. So we took it over to Gambino Customs in San Jose. They got right in, knocked out a beautiful custom transmission cover, did all the sheet metal work, fitted the mount for the transmission, for the shifter. He knocked it out in a couple of days, and his guys were just ecstatic about doing it. So Gambino stepped it up and helped us out with it, so we're glad that we have Alex Gambino on our staff. FlatCaddy.com's been a great help in the beginning on the design on the heads. They're an aftermarket for flathead Cadillac parts. They have casted one-piece heads. They have intake manifolds for Cadillac flatheads. So if you're interested in getting into flatheads, Cadillac flatheads especially, check them out. They've got some great products. You got Gasser's Garage in Missouri. That is our chassis and our sheet metal guy, Randy Jackson. He's got a shop in Missouri, just out by the HAMB drags. He stepped up, and you know he's one of the drivers. He holds the world record too. But Laser Art World's been a great support. They've done quite a bit of work. Just you know the design to laser cutting to fit and finish, and they've been an instrumental part of building this car from the ground up.